Nothing ruins a barefoot summer stroll or a backyard badminton match quite like the feeling, or as if you're auditioning for a role in Mogul's ski competition with your lawn. I'm talking about those bumps and those dips and those twisted ankles and the blades and, well, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's a bad case of the hiccups. Well, grab your rake and your sense of humor, because today we are soothing out and smoothing out literally our lawns with an easy do-it-yourself method to level that lawn before somebody takes a header into the petunias. Now, here is what we want to do is get your pens and papers out, because you're going to want to take notes on this, because you're going to want to find out why it's bumpy before you even fix it. Believe it or not, most mystery bumps aren't caused by gremlins or a grumpy garden gnome. They're usually the work of freeze-thaw cycles, old tree roots, decomposing or tunneling critters like voles and grubs throwing an underground rave party. So what you want to do is walk the lawn, and walk the lawn slowly. Don't be in a hurry to do this. And mark all of the bumps and the dips with those little irrigation flags. You could use golf tees, but they're probably going to get lost, right? So you want to use something that's going to be tall enough. Just go down to the local store and hardware store. They're probably going to have them. They're called irrigation flags. And what's really cool about them is that they have a pretty long stick. It's anywhere between 6 to 12 inches long. And they have a little flag on top of it. And you just dump it right there. You put it right there. Now, you could take some lime and you could circle the area in the lawn as well if you're going to do the work right away. And this right here will also help. And of course, when you water your lawn, the lime is going to dissipate. Regardless, you want to mark those areas, because I don't want you falling down. I don't want you to trip. I don't want you to twist that ankle. And then what you're going to do is dig a small test hole in a bumpy spot to check for things. We want to look for grubs, we want to look for roots, and we want to look for rocks. As a matter of fact, what's really, really interesting, especially when you have a newer lawn, is that we don't realize how rocks actually, from the ground after we've planted a lawn, they'll actually come to the surface. And boy, is that a problem. So that's why we're checking these things first before you do anything, because maybe it's just a matter of picking the rock up and fixing it. We're going to tell you how to do that. But note whether the bumps are widespread, whether there's a drainage issue, or scattered around the yard like with critter activity. You know, when you have a gopher, gophers, they dig holes everywhere. Not only are they digging holes diagonally, they're digging holes laterally. And they have areas where they'll, a den down here where they'll live, they'll have another den over here for their waste. Believe it or not, that's what gophers do. Gophers have their own septic tank that they use. They don't want to live where they do their number two, if you get what my drift. So make sure that you have and you understand where those holes are coming through and coming from. Now, the thing you want to do is you want to, if you do have the divots in there, you want to top dress with a leveling mix. Now, top dressing dates back to old English estates gardening, where groundskeepers used a blend of loam, sand, and compost to keep those famous manicured lawns looking like a green pool table, a tradition we've basically stolen for suburban America. So what you'll want to do is mix equal parts of topsoil, compost, and coarse sand. Mix it all together for your leveling blend. Just don't use sand. So you want to fill the low spots with a very thin layer, no more than a half an inch at a time. Because if you're going to do more than a half inch, you're really going to be messing up the turf. So you do a little bit, and then it'll settle, and then it'll grow, and then it'll settle, and then it'll grow. Because I don't want you to come through there and put this mix down and put it at an inch or two, and then you pack it down real hard, because you're going to pack it down too much. you don't want to pack it down too much. You want to make it so that it's nice and smooth and little bit at a time. So you're going to rake it smooth, and then you're going to water it in so it settles without smothering the grass. That's so important for you to make sure that that grass isn't smothered. Now, that's of course if you've got a divot, okay? Now, we're going to get into other things on how to fix that as well. So like, for instance, if you have the rock is a different story. If I said that the rock was coming up, you see it right a bit, you could just kind of dig around, pull that rock out, and then put your mix in there and then fold it back. And that folding is going to be really important in the future over here. Now, core irrigation machines didn't become common for homeowners until about the 1970s. Before that, folks have literally strapped spike sandals to their feet and walked their lawns like they were auditioning for a horror movie. And I have to tell you, those didn't work, because if you're going to be using any kind of shoes that have spikes on there, and a lot of people also use golf shoes because golf shoes have little spikes on them too. Well, that just compacts the soil. That's all it does. So you can actually rent or borrow a core aerator machine. They have those manual aeration forks for small areas, and you want to aerate your lawn area. It's going to help out tremendously in this whole concept. And then what you'll want to do is that you go over the bumpy zones and the divoted ones, of course, and you don't leave the soil plugs there. You want to pull all those soil plugs out, and then you're going to fill you could fill the plugs with sand if you wanted to, and that sand is going to fill up inside those little holes so that the compaction rate and the implosion of those holes isn't going to happen. Because sand, when you throw it on the ground, it's about 90% compacted when you throw it in. So you mix it in, and it'll be compacted. And then when you could see where there's areas that are low or too high, you're going to you can take those plugs and can use that as your fill. You can use that as your leveling because it came out of the same place. That's what's cool about that. But if it's like a sinkhole, use that mix that I told you about, because otherwise you're going to have oodles of problems. Now, here's a technique that basically is a mini version of what sod farmers do when they're harvesting your turf. You're just doing surgery on your turf, but it's a lot smaller and you have a different kind of patient, which is your front yard or your backyard. So let's just say, for instance, that you have yourself a very low cut area and you need to fill it up quite a bit. Well, take and cut an H shape, right? Let's say you go like this, and an H shape, right? 2 lateral lines, 1 horizontal line. Then you take your spade. Now this is over the prop, whether it's 2 bump or whether it's a dip. Then what you do is that you take your spade underneath and you cut out like 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of the dirt, and then you can flop it over. And then you do the same with the other. You flop it over. That right there is going to make such a huge difference when you end up doing this. And you'll peel it back, and you're going to add or remove the soil underneath. You're going to fold it, you're going to press the sod down, and then you're going to help knit it back wonderfully. Now, another thing that we can do is we can roll out the problems. Typically that works best if it's a bump in the grass, and you could use a lawn roller for that. Now, you can even use it for if it's a divot. That's not the end of the world. But lawn rollers, they came really into a status symbol kind of a thing in suburban America in the 1950s post-war boom, when a very smooth, uniform lawn was basically the picket fence equivalent to a shiny new Buick in the driveway. You remember that? Look at all those old movies and how beautiful the lawns were. They were nice and flat and level. And, you know, it's interesting. It's good to do that, but you can overdo it. A water roller can put down hundreds and sometimes thousands of pressure on your lawn per square inch. I mean, we're talking like this is a steamroller of sorts for the lawn. Think about that. You ever see those steamrollers on the cartoons or on the roads, whatever they do it, they use it for asphalt, but they have a big old truck and they have the two rollers. It's filled full of water and it flattens everything out. Well, this is only one roller, and then it has a handle. Usually it's a rounded kind of handle of sorts, and then you pull it or you could push it. And we do this to compact the soil. We use it when we are installing a brand new lawn. It really, really helps when you do this for a brand new lawn. But you don't want to make it too heavy because you need airspace inside of your soil. So you have to do it when the soil is just slightly moist, not when it's wet, because it's going to compact it too much. So typically what we say is you only fill it about 1/3. Besides, if you fill it more than 1/3, when you end up making your turn for going the other direction, you're going to rip up your lawn. Happens all the time. Or if it's a new installation, it's going to happen all the time where it's just going to take and just dig into that dirt. So keep it on the lighter side. Then you just roll. Then you just roll over it. Keep it moist, never soggy. You just don't want that compaction. And if at all possible, make it a single pass in each direction. Now you can go one direction and then you can go the other direction. All right? And that's so important because, again, rolling it is going to compact that soil. And it's going to compact it so much, you're going to ask yourself, what did I do? And you got new problems on your hands. Okay, then you're going to have to follow up with the aeration aspect of it. Anyway, the really interesting part is that you just want to keep it smooth with ongoing habits. You know, the old saying that says mow high and mow often. Well, that really traces back to golf course superintendents who have discovered that decades ago that taller grass grows deeper roots and hides minor imperfections. And it's better than a tightly shorn lawn. So kind of keep that in mind. Mow at a slightly higher height. Of course, that doesn't eliminate the fact that you've got the bumps and the dips in there. You got to fix those first. Just by hiding it isn't going to fix that. This is just an addition to help those roots grow lower because you've done all those things to encourage the deep root stabilizing growth. Then you water deeply, infrequently. You only need about 1 1/4 inches of precipitation on your turf. That's all you need. You don't need more irrigation on your turf. You want the roots to grow down instead of sideways. You want to repeat a light top dressing each fall to keep new dips from forming because they can. They can actually form again because you just never know. You know, let's just say you have the kids on the property. Maybe it's you or you're on the property and you're playing football with the buds. And somebody pounds the grass with the knee, or they take the foot and they smashed on it because you got somebody who's a big person. Well, those are going to be divots, and those are things that you're going to have to fix. So kind of keep all that in mind when you're talking about your bumpy turf, whether it's an actual bump above or below. And I got to tell you something here, Greethums. A lawn so smooth that you can roll a marble across it without taking a detour, well, get out there, level it out, and save those ankles for tripping over garden hoses instead. We don't want to trip over anything. But the point is that there's other things you should be tripping on. You shouldn't be tripping on your lawn. And follow this information, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a much more successful, beautiful lawn experience, especially when you're mowing it.